Hi, it's me. I watched the Hannah Montana movie for the first time, and it really brought me back to a much simpler time in world history. A time where young girls wore their Hannah Montana t-shirts and carried their Hannah Montana school supplies and their Hannah Montana backpacks. And then they came home from school to watch Hannah Montana and brush their teeth with a Hannah Montana toothbrush that sings. This woman's face in a blonde wig was unavoidable. But what happens when a pop sensation leaves her Los Angeles life to be a certified horse girl? Well, we're about to find out. Miley is a gigantic pop star who goes by the alias Hannah Montana. She hides her identity with a blonde wig and becomes immediately unrecognizable to the world as soon as she puts it on. And look, let's just point out the obvious right now. At a core, this makes no sense. Like, of course, people would be able to distinguish that Miley and Hannah are the same person. But we're just gonna have to accept this, because if we don't accept it, I'm gonna get really annoying really fast. Miley Stewart lives a double life. So during the day, she's a regular teen girl. She goes to school, she does regular teen things. And then by night, she's a pop sensation with millions of fans. And immediately we see that she has trouble balancing the two lives. Sometimes you get the worst of both worlds. Sometimes you get the worst of both worlds. So Miley is running late to her own concert. She tries to get in line with the other fans who don't recognize her, and that's Lily, her bestie. She's gonna annoy the crap out of me through this movie. And this lady is an asshole about it. She doesn't even check with anyone. She just basically tells them to fuck off.
It's Miley Stewart, we've gotta get in there. Yeah, our name's on the list.
Well, why didn't you say so? In your dreams, sweet cheeks. Next.
So the only logical thing to do in this situation would be to steal this security cart. I don't know why she couldn't have just called her dad or something. And they could not be any less conspicuous while driving through the concert venue. The security guard chases them all the way into Hannah Montana's dressing room.
Yeah, it's okay, they're with me, come on, go.
As if the police weren't called already. For those of you who don't know, Billy Ray is Miley Cyrus's real dad. I don't know if this is common sense in 2024, but there you go.
Hey, don't forget it's your turn to do the dishes tonight.
I did them last night.
Hey, don't give me no lip, you're the one that wanted best of both worlds.
Okay, Billy Ray, doesn't she pay your mortgage? Maybe you can do the dishes. The things I would do to be in 2009 at a Hannah Montana concert. These girls in the front sold their souls to be there, by the way. The staple Hannah Montana song is the best of both worlds, and I just think it's funny how the song is literally about living a double life.
Get the best of both worlds.
And not a single person caught on to that amongst everything else. We cut to this music video shoot where Miley gets in her dressing room, and this weirdo is hiding in the wardrobe asking for a picture.
No, it's okay, I'm sorry. I just had to meet you.
I was just like kind of caught off guard with that. But Vita, who is Miley's publicist, who like hangs out with her all the time for some reason, she points out that Oswald is like this weirdo who works for the British equivalent of TMZ. And he spends the entire movie trying to find some kind of dirt on Hannah Montana for some kind of like cover piece. Also, Vita is played by Vanessa Williams, who was the first Black Miss America. She's an absolute legend. She just released the song of the summer. And like it just came out of nowhere. But I'm putting it in the description if you want to check it out, because it's actually a banger. She also played the Queen of Trash in that Elmo movie, which I thought was iconic. Vita escorts Oswald out, but he leaves a camera just recording on the couch. What if she was getting changed? Vita unknowingly sits on it, so it's fine. Then he watches the video and he's like, "Aw."
Secret? What secret? Where have you bum, you old cow?
Foiled again. He works for this evil lady who runs the tabloid, and Homegirl is getting her eyebrows and her nails done at the same time. But remember, Miley is a regular girl at a regular school, and she's in gym class, so Vita shows up and she says something like, Beyonce has double pneumonia and she can't make it to the music awards, so you're in.
Fabulous news. Beyonce has double pneumonia, has to drop out of the New York Music Awards. You are in.
Okay, cool. So like Hannah Montana can perform at the music awards, but I'm sorry, is Beyonce okay? Did she get the swine flu? Someone check on Beyonce and see if she's okay. So Miley is now abruptly leaving to go shopping for the music awards. Lily is like, Miley, what about my birthday party? It's like her birthday's that day, and she says she'll make it on time.
Hello, what about my birthday party?
I'll be there, I promise.
But will she? Now Hannah Montana is walking down the street and everyone's acting completely normal. Like you'd think there'd be fans following her or whatever. I don't know. There's just a lot of inconsistent details like this in this movie. Jackson Stewart is Miley's older brother, and he's supposed to be 18. He's like going to college or something. I think he's supposed to be like 28 or 30 in real life, but he does look young though. I'll give him that. But they barely have him in this movie for some reason. Him and the other like main Hannah Montana people. It's just kind of weird. He just kind of shows up for the most random reasons. You'll see later on. Dad has no idea where Miley is, and he's upset with Miley because she's supposed to say goodbye to Jackson before he goes off to college. Meanwhile, Miley is shopping for bracelets or something, and the staff is straight up all over her business. This guy's a little weird.
We'll just add them to the pile.
Is that the time? Oh, I can't.
She sees a pair of shoes that she wants to buy for Lily's birthday, and I did not expect to see Tyra Banks in this movie. It was like a jump scare. They get in this kerfuffle over these shoes, and what's interesting about it is I can absolutely see Tyra Banks doing this.
Do you know who I am? Well, I know you know who I am. So?
And this turns into a full-blown WWE fight. I mean, they start beating the shit out of each other. British TMZ guy, he snaps a photo on his phone, so we know this is going to be all over the tabloids. And meanwhile, Miley's phone is ringing like crazy because Lily's waiting for her at her Sweet 16 and she's not there. And her dad's been trying to call her because she didn't say goodbye to Jackson before he went off to college. But like we see him again. I don't know. It's confusing. But she didn't even get the shoes that she was fighting for. So it was like, that was all for nothing. She talks to Lily and her dad on the phone, and they give her such a hard time for not being there. Lily even hangs up on Miley. We briefly see Oliver and Rico. They're not in the movie at all, but man, do they have Disney hair.
What's this hole at the top of the cake?
It's a high-pressure electropneumatic solenoid on it. It's 150 pounds per square.
I watched that Fallout series on Amazon Prime, and I couldn't help but to notice that Moses Arias, he looks exactly the same. Lily is having this moment with this boy on this like half pipe thing, and as soon as he notices Hannah Montana waltz in, he just like drops her on the half pipe and like runs over to her. Everyone is freaking out. Obviously, the attention is now on Miley or Hannah instead of Lily, and she is not happy about that. Like Miley's actively trying to revert everyone's attention back to Lily, and it's just not working.
I gotta say happy birthday to my number one fan, Lily. She's never that way. She's never that way. Happy birthday, Lily.
So you might be thinking, why wouldn't she just show up as Miley to not get all that attention? But she couldn't because Oswald, the weird British TMZ guy from earlier, he was following their limo. So he would have seen a different girl come out of Hannah's limo. So that's why. Also, I was actually wondering why Miley couldn't have done the shopping after Lily's party because it was during the day. So all of this just seems very unnecessary to me.
You will never, ever, ever make it up to me.
Okay, pause for a second. I know that this whole situation was completely avoidable, but can we talk about how Lily's Sweet 16 is at Pacific Park on the Santa Monica Pier and is completely reserved for her party? She has a band, a half pipe. That is all Hannah Montana money. Aw, what a bad friend. Poor Lily, poor Jackson, poor dad, poor everybody. Miley's letting fame get to her head. How about Miley fronts the bill for everyone, but isn't thanked for it? How about Miley deals with the best of both worlds of everyone's stupid fucking two-faced attitudes? How about that? So I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be on anyone's side except Miley's because at a baseline, y'all are just ungrateful. That's just my opinion. Miley gets on the stage and the band magically knows how to play her song, which I thought was a little weird. Then Skateboard Guy and some other random teenagers just instinctively decide to be Hannah Montana's backup dancers. Meanwhile, Lily gets stopped by Oswald and he asks her if it's true that she's 43 years old.
Is it true that Hannah's really 43 years old, that she lip sync?
But here's where I would actually cut all ties. Lily just hands over this guy information about the town Miley grew up in to like get back at her or something. She completely doxes Hannah Montana.
That she grew up in Nashville?
More like a cornfield in some place called Crowley Corners.
And while this is happening, by the way, Miley is constantly reminding the crowd that it's Lily's birthday.
Happy birthday, y'all. We got cake over there.
Miley's trying to call Lily and Dad is upset because the British tabloid came out. There's a photo of Hannah and Tyra fighting on the cover, you know, for the shoes. Are we just supposed to accept that this photo was taken on that flip phone? No, we're not. but I'm moving on. The real issue, though, is that Miley's supposed to go to the music awards on the same day as Grandma Ruby's birthday in Tennessee. So Dad is grilling her about all the events that took place, but they gotta go, otherwise Hannah Montana's gonna be late for the music awards. Nobody's perfect, I gotta work it. Vita's solution is to have Miley ride on a private jet right after the music awards, and that way she can make it to her grandma's birthday party on time, which I feel like is an actual reasonable solution to the problem. So Dad obliges, they get on a private jet, but surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise! Oh no, that doesn't look like New York City. So if it's not obvious already, Dad tricked Miley into flying to Tennessee, and she's very against this. She's completely PO'd. She's like, yeah, maybe Grandma's gonna die soon. Maybe I should have remembered her dumb birthday. She didn't exactly say that. It just kind of gave off that vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe I should have remembered Grandma's birthday.
I did.
Jackson, not now.
Dad says that she's only Hannah Montana, so she could still be a normal kid, but that she's losing touch of who she really is. At this point, he's making this decision that Hannah Montana might be completely done. And I mean, it's pretty normal for parents to make career decisions for their kids while they're still kids, right? You know, the same kid that pays for all their parents' bills. But we're not ready to have that conversation, are we? Miley's really upset. She's like, you can't take Hannah away from me. Dad says to give it 2 weeks so she can find the country girl inside of her. Miley's like, yeah, whatever, Dad. I'm going to New York, whether you like it or not. And she has like no realistic way to get there, which I thought was funny. Like, where exactly are you going? This horse literally snatches her wig, and Miley starts freaking out until she realizes that it's her childhood horse. So this is exactly where Miley starts to shift her very obvious horse girl character arc. She tries to ride the horse without a saddle. She falls. Nobody's perfect. I gotta work it. They cut to the shot of Miley's hair extensions blowing in the wind, and this cowboy guy lassos the horse and like catches it. So he's gonna be the love interest in this movie. His name's Travis. So he comes up with this horse and he's like, howdy partner. And he gives her this weird insult. He's like, blue jeans don't take kindly to strangers, especially dirty and sparkly ones.
Especially not dirty, sparkly ones.
What does that even mean? Then she's like, actually, he's my horse. And suddenly Cowboy Guy recognizes her. He's like, it's me, Travis.
Me and you went up to your Uncle Earl's farm and swam and got poison oak all over her.
I remember. You okay?
And then she's like, yeah, you used to terrorize me by hanging me upside down in a well.
I also remember you hanging me head first down a well.
What was going on in Tennessee? So he admits that he had a big old country crush on her, but now he's over it. Yeah, okay. I wonder where this is going. You think he's gonna mix it all together? So he takes her up on a horse and he rides back to Grandma's house and they're talking and stuff, catching up. Travis makes a comment about her barely showing up since her mom died, and he just kind of changes the subject.
Don't come around too often anymore, do you?
Often enough.
Only a couple times since your mom died that I've heard about. So, how long you staying?
So we're just gonna casually gloss over her mom dying. Smooth move, Travis. They have this little banter about her living in California and how people there aren't the same as us country regular people. Then Miley opens up her big stupid mouth and she says she's best friends with Hannah Montana. Yeah, I'm sure he'll never be suspicious about any of this. Actually, he won't ever be suspicious. And I think that's what drives me crazy. Miley walks into Grandma's house and her entire family is singing some like country bluegrass song. Then they put Miley on the spot and tell her to sing the next verse of the song, but she has no idea what to sing. And instead of being, no, sorry, I don't feel like singing right now, she just completely ruins the vibe. And she's like, I want my life back, Dad.
I want my life back, Dad. Sorry, everybody. Hey, happy birthday, Grandma.
Happy birthday, Grandma. Time and place, Miley. She gives Grandma Ruby this Elvis plate for her celebrity plate collection. Also, I have to point out that this guy randomly carries around a ferret. He like shows up occasionally in this movie. I'm not sure why, because he's not relevant to the plot. And Grandma tells Dad to introduce himself to this lady who's new in town. I was really surprised to see Jan from The Office in this movie. Her name is Lorelai. So dad goes up to Lorelai and he tries to like smooth talk her, but he ends up crashing into grandma's plate collection. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Miley gets settled in and grandma comes upstairs to guilt her more about not living in Tennessee or visiting more or whatever.
Your mom picked this out when she was about your age.
I like it.
You used to like a lot of things about coming to see me.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about the whole thing. The next morning, Miley's thinking, okay, maybe if I act like a country girl, I can leave this shithole a lot sooner. So she puts herself in some overalls and she starts talking weird.
Ain't nothing better than farm fresh eggs for breakfast.
I don't think she's fooling anybody. And then she goes to collect some chicken eggs, but is clearly overcomplicating the entire thing. She's putting them in her pocket and she starts dancing around. I thought maybe the bucket was for collecting the eggs, but I guess we're not using it for that. The chickens were like, who is this crackhead? Oh, the bucket was for the chicken feed. Why is she doing all that? Just get the damn eggs and go back inside. She is just so quirky. Oh no, look what you did. She comes back inside with one entire egg. Farm girl life is just not all it's cracked up to be. Dad goes outside to fix grandma's truck, but he notices the town's foreman is fixing it. Then the foreman takes off their mask. I don't know what it's called. Is it a mask? It ends up being Jan from the Lorelai, who, by the way, has perfect hair. They're talking here and they clearly have romantic tension. Not much else to say about that. Jackson Stewart, again, just kind of shows up randomly in this movie. He has no clear purpose. And here is him at what I think is some kind of like wildlife preservation. He's arguing with an ostrich because he's silly.
Talked about this. Unless you want to see ostrich burgers on the menu with a snack bar.
Ferret Guy takes over the ostrich presentation and Jackson goes to feed one of the alligators. I love how the alligator sign says, I bite, as if most alligators don't bite. I don't know, I guess kids are dumb or something. This part is actually crazy because Jackson is getting mauled by an alligator and not a single person is helping him. In fact, all of the children are just cheering. Grandma drives Miley to the farmer's market and she introduces the conflict of this movie, which is very Hallmark. So basically all of the open fields in the town were owned by some guy who died or whatever, and he left all the land to the town itself. But here's the thing though, the town doesn't have enough for the taxes, so they're trying to raise $500,000. Because if they don't, the big bad developers are gonna build shopping malls and apartment buildings. What could be worse than that? I have a question though, and please forgive me because I'm actually a dumbass sometimes. Wouldn't the taxes be paid yearly on the land? Like taxes aren't typically paid in a lump sum, right? Whatever. Miley is low-key down for the shopping mall idea.
A mall? Really?
As if they'd have anything else other than an Aeropostale, Route 21, and a mediocre food court. This is the evil land developer, and his existence really pisses off Grandma. She don't mess around.
I swear everything about that man irks me.
Miley kind of mouths off to her and gives her an attitude of, I'm too good to shop here.
There, no thanks, I'm good.
Look, Missy, you may be Hannah Montana back home, but
Like, listen here, you little shit. She basically tells her that she should be a lot more grateful having the privilege to visit family in Tennessee to begin with, and Miley apologizes for that. Grandma tells Miley to cut up some watermelons, and British TMZ dude is Googling around trying to look for Hannah Montana, you know what I mean? He asks this random guy if he knows who Hannah Montana is, and I just thought it was hilarious how offended this guy gets when he asks him that question.
Sure, Hannah Montana. I don't live under a rock.
I'm not a dumbass. Then he tries some salsa, but when he's not looking, Miley switches the salsa with some really spicy salsa without him realizing it, and then he eats it. Also, Miley releases an absurd amount of walnuts from the back of a stranger's truck so that he like slips on them and stuff, which I found completely uncalled for. Some dude was there to sell nuts, and now he can no longer sell his nuts. Thanks a lot, Miley. So TMZ dude crashes onto the model of the mall, so Miley and Grandma go to help him, but oh no, now he's asking questions about Hannah Montana. So friends, what do we think Miley's going to do? Do we think that A, Miley is going to fade into the background and act natural, or B, act suspiciously unhinged?
But no one's ever seen her.
I've seen her, saw her, know her, knew her.
You're the first one.
I know all the Montanas.
You know you had an easy out, right? You could have just said, nah, I don't listen to that commie music. I only listen to real music like bluegrass and the national anthem. So now he's asking where he can find her, and they give him incorrect directions to where Hannah Montana is staying, as if he's not going to be suspicious when he gets there and she's nowhere to be found. Well, he gets there, and somehow he ends up in a pile of mud with salsa music playing in the background. Then he gets a call from his daughters, who are huge Hannah Montana fans, and imagine my surprise when I see Nancy Kerrigan from Stranger Things. Wait, no, not Nancy Kerrigan. Nancy Kerrigan was the skater who got her knees bashed in the 90s. I meant Nancy Wheeler, I'm sorry. Such a star-studded cast. Well, I'll be darned. It's Travis, the cowboy. We haven't talked to him in a minute. Miley is songwriting in front of a chicken, and Travis overhears it. He starts acting really weird. Like when Miley asks, hey, do you like this song? I expect him to go, yeah, it sounds really good. But suddenly he's a music expert. And he's like, it didn't tell me anything about you.
Doesn't tell me anything about who you are or what you feel.
You know what I'm feeling now?
I've got an idea.
Side note, he explains the worst business transaction with Grandma Ruby, where if he builds a chicken coop, then he can sell her chicken eggs, no strings attached. I don't know, Travis, I feel like you should just go buy your own chickens. Anyways, back to the songwriting thing. Do you know what this dingbat says?
Life's a climb, but the view is great.
I think I'm gonna tattoo that on my asshole. Then we get a montage of Miley and Travis horseback riding and playing in the creek. Dad is talking to that lady and they build a chicken coop. Miley seems to finally understand what it means to be a country girl. They almost kiss and Travis kind of scrambles. He's like, I reckon we giddy on up out of here.
Hey, we should probably get going. We don't want to be late for the fundraiser.
He's just too nervous to express his feelings. And then that night, the Crowley town is doing the fundraiser with a bunch of country music to try and raise money for the taxes. And I don't know exactly what happened. I promise I'm not making this up, but I went into this movie blind and I was like, this is so yeehaw country. I feel like it needs 2009 Taylor Swift. And what do you know it? Who else gets up on the stage other than Taylor Swift? I was like, what is Taylor Swift doing on my TV? I truly didn't know she was in this. Travis comes up to Miley and she's like, care to join me for a twirl around the old barnyard? So they're dancing and Dad is also being flirty with Lorelai. And then after that song, Travis forces her onto the stage and puts her on the spot to start singing. Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts about this song that Miley's about to sing. Okay? I want to know who's responsible because she says she's going to sing a hip hop song.
I'm gonna add a little hip hop to this hoedown.
And then proceeds to sing the complete opposite of hip hop.
I'll give the barbecue show and tell you how to move.
Genre confusion aside, it's supposed to be one of those line dance songs like the Cha-Cha Slide. So she sings the instructions to the audience, but they're incredibly confusing.
Bit like it, polka dotted, country fighting, hip hop.
You've got it, guys. Come on. No, because I literally have no idea what you just said. And then she adds more steps. Like, I don't even think this line dance could be any more confusing. And then it gets more confusing. But I don't know. Everyone just joins in. Then they know all the dance moves. So maybe it's just me. And then everyone's cheering, having a good old time when the sinister developer comes strolling in. And Grandma does not care about killing the vibe. She gives 0 Fs about that.
You got a lot of nerve coming in here.
And this guy straight up is like, y'all ain't gonna raise enough money because you're a bunch of poor losers. Travis is like, Miley knows Hannah Montana. They're best friends.
Miley knows Hannah Montana.
TMZ guy overhears this, but we're gonna revisit that later. Let's talk about the fact that 1, Travis, you literally have no right to announce this information to everybody. So shut your mouth. And 2, what if she was a liar? Like, I know she's really Hannah Montana and that's supposed to be the lie, but I literally told people that I was related to Hillary Duff for 2 years while I was in elementary school. And I'm just here to let everybody know watching this video that yes, we're actually best friends and people mistake us all the time for sisters because we look so much alike. But Travis assumes Hannah Montana would be willing to throw a concert to raise enough money. And everyone's like, yeah, Miley, go ask your BFF Hannah. What is she gonna do? Oh, whoa, whoa, yeah. So obviously they have to orchestrate Hannah showing up to the town, right? So Miley arranges a limo to show up and Lily is dressed like Hannah Montana so people are bamboozled from afar. You know what I mean? This weirdo is taking pictures. I think we can assume his intentions are nefarious. Vita, pissed. hates all this, hates Tennessee, hates the countryside. So real for that. Miley, on the other hand, she's super grateful for Lily, especially after the whole birthday thing. That is until Lily tells her that she leaked the hometown information to the British TMZ dude. And this was very much glossed over in my opinion. It would not take a simple "I'm sorry" for me to move on from this. Lorelai comes walking in. She wants to thank Hannah, and they quickly pretend like they're doing some kind of like relaxation ritual for jet lag. Something about Hannah only flying west to east, and they don't act suspicious at all.
Oh, well, and ever.
Foot massage.
Miley runs off to bring her dad up to speed, and Lorelai is awkwardly rubbing Hannah Montana's feet, trying to make conversation. Lorelai asks Lily, who she thinks is Hannah Montana, if she can attend this dinner with the mayor, and Lily says yes. Dad sees Lorelai rubbing Hannah Montana's feet and tries distracting her or something. And Jackson, every time he shows up, he gets hurt. Also, somehow there ends up being this moment where Dad and Lorelai almost kiss, but Lily just ruins that moment for some reason. Okay, actually, why is Lily insufferable in this movie?
Miley, hello, what about my birthday party?
I'm very anti-Lily right now. But yeah, of course, Jackson, he's gonna get hurt again. So Lorelai, she opens up the window with Jackson on the ladder and he falls into some pumpkins. I'm pretty sure those pumpkins would weigh like 500 pounds. Okay, whatever. Miley and Lily notice Travis outside working and they think that if he met Hannah Montana, then he would like flirt with her or something. As if he didn't make it painfully obvious that he had a crush on Miley several times. But then Hannah Montana walks out, she just fools him. He just has no idea it's her.
You want to go out with Miley?
Oh, no, you'd be a real prize, don't get me wrong, but Miley.
I know I made it a rule to not make a big deal about the whole, blonde wig thing, but the fact that she immediately becomes unrecognizable to this dingaling is absolutely hilarious to me. Not only that, he couldn't give two shits about Hannah Montana. He says he has a crush on Miley, and Hannah gives him some advice to go ask Miley out. Wait, I'm sorry. I have a migraine after saying that. So Cowboy finally gets the courage and says, I reckon I'm gonna fixin' to invite her to saddle up and join me for a ride into town. Yeehaw. So Miley scrambles to change and she makes some pretty good timing. He asks her on a date for that night and she's like, sure, I don't have any other plans. Or does she? At first I was thinking, okay, maybe Miley just wasn't told about the whole mayor dinner thing that Lorelai talked about. I'm still kind of confused if she was or wasn't, but when she's picking out her outfit for the date, Dad tells her, no, you've already made commitments as Hannah. And she responds casually by saying that Lily made those Hannah plans. So wait, did you already know? Did you already know that you had this pre-existing dinner to go to? Couldn't you have just told Travis that you have plans and to go to the date tomorrow? It just seems like once again, she doesn't think through these plans that she makes. And okay, let's assume she didn't know. Even after this moment, she could have said, hey, Travis, I completely forgot that I have to go to this thing with grandma. Can we just reschedule? She could have said something. But as you would probably guess, Miley's just going to try to do both at the same time. Yeah, nothing could go wrong with that. I mean, already we see her on her way to the dinner as Hannah, and she's passing by Travis as he's showing up for the date that she planned. And this is already a disaster because Miley's just distracted the entire time. And Jackson brought a ferret for some reason. They never explain why. He just kind of has it at the table. And it really just becomes this back and forth of Miley finding a reason to run away from either the dinner or her date with Travis. And it visibly annoys everybody, by the way. Travis is really trying to shoot his shot and Miley is on a completely different planet. I unironically laughed at the little girl following Miley around during this whole fiasco. She's just staring at her. So yeah, this goes on for 10 or 15 minutes. What confuses me most about this though is the ferret bit. The mayor takes off his pants and the table catches on fire. It's a whole thing. There's this moment where Miley seizes the opportunity to take off her Hannah getup in the swingy door thing. And it almost made me emotional seeing her looking at the little girl taking off this wig because this was a really pivotal moment in her real life, but that was quickly ruined when Travis just kind of shows up and he sees her with a wig and he puts two and two together and he has an absolute cow over it. No pun intended.
Are you making fun of me? Laughing at me?
Bro, what? I mean, I get you're mad about the whole date thing, but are you really that self-absorbed to think that the Hannah Montana charade was done to make fun of you? Like the same secret that she's had before she even got to Tennessee. Also, honey, I know that it's 2009 and we're rocking the hair extensions, but this was a crime. If I was that little girl, I would immediately tell everyone I knew. Miley runs up to talk to her dad, but Lorelai comes up and dad pretty much breaks up with her because Lorelai suspects that he's not telling her something. I don't know. I mean, I get that we're at the part of the movie where like all the conflicts unfold onto themselves, but couldn't they just tell her that Miley is Hannah Montana? It just seems like this wouldn't be that huge of a deal. Is anyone else with me on this? Actually, I feel like none of this would be a big deal at all. And Miley just listens to this conversation crying. Like, why couldn't she have just walked upstairs, take off her wig and be like, look, I'm a drag queen. Yeah, I don't know. We're just in the worst of both worlds right now, guys. What is Miley gonna do? Oh, whoa, whoa, yeah. Miley and her dad sing this really sweet song that sounds exactly like Landslide by the Fleetwood Mac.
My hair had to drive me everywhere.
Melody is exactly the same. I haven't seen anybody else bring this up. And the next morning, Lily finds her passed out on top of the chicken coop because she spent all night painting it. But now it's time for the big Hannah Montana show that's gonna save the town. Travis sees the chicken coop with the weird egg door, and he's like, I reckon it's time for me to round up my lasso and wrangle up my woman. Time to hit the duster trail and track down my sweetheart. Country roads, take me home. So Hannah's performing, and I really just have to point out that every notable person in the audience is on stilts or something. Like they're obviously on platforms that makes them look incredibly taller than everyone else. I guess so that we as the audience can see them while we're watching the movie, but it just looks so ridiculous to me.
I can't do this.
Wow, that is a power stance. And here it is, friends. We get the big reveal. She's talking to this audience of like, what? 1,000 people, 1,500 people, and she's like, I'm not who you think I am. And she takes off the wig, and I'm like, do all these people just know Miley? Like, if I was a random person in the audience, I'd think, okay, so Hannah Montana was just wearing a blonde wig the whole time. She has brown hair. I don't know what the big deal is. It's me. Okay. I just don't think it would be as impactful as this movie is making out to be. That's just my opinion. Like, so many artists have stage names. Whatever. It's a kid's movie. It's not that deep. She sings her signature song, The Climb. Here is where I have a problem though. So initially she's like, all right guys, I'm done. Hannah Montana's over. And then that little girl from earlier is like, you can still be Hannah. We'll keep your secret.
Please be Hannah. We'll keep your secret.
And everyone's like, yeah, we won't tell anyone. And I just don't think that's realistic, even by Disney's standards. Also, British TMZ guy, he threatens to expose her secret to the public, but he decides not to because he grew as a person. We see Stranger Things girl again. Miley and Travis have this moment, and then she gets back on stage dressed like she's going to work. Then the movie ends. No epilogue, no explaining what happens next. We just accept this movie for what it is. And it's worth noting that apparently the TV show did not follow the Hannah Montana movie lore because we never see Travis again. We never see Jan from The Office or Lorelai, whatever, or any of the other movie specific characters again. And although Travis is kind of a country bonehead, I still think he's better than the guy who cheated on Miley, who she ended up getting back together with. But I didn't watch the show, so I really can't say much about the TV show or any opinions I have about Hannah Montana. Like, I literally watched this for the first time the other day. So if you have any Hannah Montana rants, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to read them. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.